Hello. I thought that this would be a great time to kind of do a life update for you guys. There is a lot of things happening behind the scenes that you don't know about. So I figure I'm just gonna put this video out so that you guys kind of know what's going on and what's happening and why certain things are happening. So I guess I'll start with the van. Last time you guys saw, I was having issues with it in Bend when Samantha came to visit. And so it was not overheating, but it was like getting a little hot. And so it's been at the mechanic. It's still at the mechanic. It was Labor Day weekend, so they've been really busy. That's the only reason it's still there. And we will be picking it up tomorrow morning. But it just needed a new water pump and a new thermostat. And the water pump and thermostat that were on there were both original. So they had never been replaced. So it was just time for those to be replaced. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was a little expensive, but that's understandable. I knew that going into having a Sprinter van, that would be the case when things like this start to happen, especially with an older Sprinter van, where that's likely the case of those older parts needing to be replaced. So that being said, that's all taken care of, and I'm excited to get the van back tomorrow. My book is officially done, and it will be coming out October 1st. I just got a proof of it. There's a few little things that I want to tweak on it, but other than that, like, it is officially done, and I'm really excited for that, and I'm excited to get the bundles together for you guys. In that bundle, I'm including a select print that I'm going to be printing out and sending with that bundle. And so over on my Patreon this week, I'm going to be picking 3 photos that I'm thinking about using for that print to be sent out in the bundles. And whether you bought one or not, if you are a Patreon, I'd really appreciate it if you'd help me out with some input on those and helping me choose which one I want to include in the bundle. And there are going to be some heavy, serious topics that I am going to be talking about today. The big one is where Isaac and I stand, I guess. Not really even that, but what our future looks like, I should say. As you know, Isaac and I are not together. We are living together, and we are co-parenting. We've taken this time. It's it's been a learning curve for both of us to learn how to co-parent and get along in that way. And it's been great, honestly. We haven't had any issues, but we both do kind of feel like we are living in a little bit of a limbo because neither of us can truly move on until we figure out what our future looks like. And so Isaac and I sat down and we had a long conversation of, what is going to be happening, moving forward, going into next year. And we talked about continuing to live together versus me moving out. However that looks like, whether I'm gonna officially be on the road full time, as what I set out to do in the first place, which parents take their kids on the road all the time. I have lots of friends, both parents and single moms, who live on the road and they take their kids with them, whether it's when they have their time with the kids or if they are full-time with the kids, it's possible. So that is definitely something that I am having to sit with and think about. Or am I moving out and getting a place here in Oregon, or am I going to move out and move back to Texas? So those are the three choices that I am weighing on right now, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, what my future looks like. And I don't necessarily see myself getting a place here in Oregon. I don't have a support system here. You guys know that. But also I do have to think about, what that looks like for our co-parenting relationship with Ember, if I am out of state or if I'm moving all the time. So, there are things that are important to both Isaac and I, and things that one of us may want to do that's not necessarily possible if I'm still living in the house. And I don't want to feel like a burden, and I don't want to be a burden. And I know that I'm not right now, but things have to move forward. We have to figure out what we want and like what's important to us. And that's just kind of where we are at. So we're trying to navigate through this limbo season of our lives. And that being said, if I do wind up moving out into a rig full time, which is, I think, what I am mostly leaning toward, I cannot realistically move into my van with all of my belongings and 2 cats and having a toddler part-time. It is just not realistic. So that being said, regardless, I'm gonna have to sell the van. And when I built the van out, maybe I should have thought about this part of like this, what would happen if this happened, but I just wasn't thinking about that. And so I built it out not thinking I'd ever live in it full time. Like, it's a great weekend warrior, or it would be great if like you were solo, but I'm not solo. I do have a daughter. I do have 2 cats. I feel like if you're living in something full time, there are certain things that you need if you have kids. For me anyways. And so there's just no way that, and I did consider rebuilding the van to accommodate those things, but in the end, the reality is I just put so much money into building out that van, and it doesn't make sense to rip that out, to rebuild it when I really can't afford to do that. That'd be literally just throwing money away, and it just didn't sit right with me to do that. So I am just going to bite the bullet and sell the van and figure out what I'm going to do next. I definitely think that it would be more comfortable for all of us if we are in something bigger with more space. I don't want Ember to be stuck in a tiny van if like it's raining outside and we can't go outside to play, because it's fine if the weather's nice and you can be outside most of the time, but there are going to be those days where it's really cold or it's rainy, the weather's not great, and you're not going to want to go outside. And I just don't want us to be, I would be fine that way, but I wouldn't want Ember to be stuck in a tiny little van and not be able to go play. And so that's kind of where I'm at with the van. And it breaks my heart to think that I am doing this again. Like, I'm starting over again. But I guess this time what is different is that I am starting over, but with more of a clear path and a clear idea of what my future is going to look like as far as my relationship with Isaac goes. And so I know that a lot of people they feel whatever way that they're going to feel about the fact that Isaac and I are not together. But in reality, the most important thing is our individual happiness and our happiness together as a whole. and then how that's going to reflect on our daughter. Two unhappy people in an unhappy situation is going to reflect on the kids. And I firmly believe that as long as both parents are happy and healthy and they don't hate each other, the kids are going to be all right. And I think that that's where Isaac and I are at, but neither of us want that to turn into like something that's bitter where we resent each other and we're holding each other back per se. Like, I'm not saying that we are now, but we don't want it to come to that. So we're just trying to figure out what our future is going to look like. And, there are things that each of us want. And like I said, it's really hard to kind of balance that being on your own and being single while you're still living with someone who, was your partner. And I don't want to get too much into it. It's really no one's business, but I've always said I try and be as transparent as possible. And it's like Isaac and I are really good friends. We want it to stay that way. We don't want it to get weird. We don't want it to if one of us starts dating each other, or if one of us starts dating, I would never feel comfortable dating in our situation, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with Isaac dating in our situation. And, I feel like it makes sense that he would feel the same. And I am not interested in dating anyone at all anytime soon. But I do want, I don't want to hold him back from anything that he might want to do. So that being said, we're just trying to make the best of the situation we have at our hands right now. And we just want Ember to be happy. So we are figuring out how us parting ways is going to affect our co-parenting situation and like how we're going to do that with Ember. So that's kind of the big life update that I know has been hanging in the air. People have been commenting on it all the time, and I hope that moving forward, you'll just know that this is the situation. And so if I do I'm gonna sell the van. If I do decide to do another rig and just be on the road full time for now until I decide to settle down somewhere, because I don't know where I'm going to want to settle down. Looking back, I didn't necessarily know if I'd want to live in Texas forever. But with Ember, I would like to be around my family and my friends. My best friend has a daughter Ember's age, and she's about to have her second. And it's I want to be around for those big moments for the people that mean the most to me. So at this point in my life, I do see myself settling down in Texas at some point. But for now, while Ember's still while she's still younger, I would like to maybe just be on the road, stay close to Oregon, and, kind of still stay close to Isaac so that it's not too hard to co-parent. And then as she gets older, it's going to be easier and we're going to figure it out. But for now, we're just doing the best we can. And so if I do that, that might need another build. If I don't buy something that's mostly already built out, I don't necessarily know where I'm going to go from here. And my heart is saying that maybe the best thing is to be on the road and stay close to Ember's dad. That makes the most sense to me. And so I think that's where I'm leaning. But if I do another build, I'm going to be on a time crunch. I don't necessarily know what Isaac's plans are for the house. And so him and I both agree that if I do move out, it will be sometime next year around spring or summer. So in my head, once I sell the van, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. And if I do another build, it's got to be done before next summer, because that'll be that. And that's just kind of where we are. So that's like the main life update. And it's not a sad situation. Isaac and I are both very much on the same page, and we are, like I said, we're still very close. We care about each other and we want each other to be happy. But at the same time, like, we also recognize that our situation isn't going to last forever. And so we need to have those serious conversations and figure out exactly what we're going to do, because this isn't a forever situation. So that's kind of where we're at. And it is a bittersweet, it is bittersweet that it's all coming to an end, in a sense, because we'll be in each other's lives forever. And I'm sure that we'll be good friends forever. And, you know, if either of us ever are with someone else, I would love to love that person also. I don't want it to be a weird thing where, you know, blended families happen and there's tension and anger, and it's not there, and I don't want it to ever get there. So we want each other to be happy. We support each other, and that's really all we can do. And I feel like we put ourselves out there on the internet, and so it is like a little bit of a touchy, sensitive subject, and people are going to say what they want. People are going to think what they want. They're going to come up with their own narratives in their heads, and that's fine. I'm literally telling you what's going on, and whether or not you want to believe it or agree with it or disagree with it, like, that's fine. You can continue to watch and support us, or you can choose not to watch. Like, it's totally up to you. That's just where we're at. This is where we're going. So we're figuring it out. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of, I don't know if perspective is the right word as to why I'm deciding to sell the van, but I didn't want it to be this unexplained, like, bombshell. I wanted to kind of let you guys know this is why it's happening. And as sad as it is for me to sell the van that I just finished not that long ago, and I've been able to enjoy it a little bit, but it's just not realistic for me to live in full time with my daughter and my 2 cats, and then also have everything that I'm going to be, like, everything that I own, everything that I have that I physically own that will not fit in whatever it is that I am living in is going to be sold. I'm going to be downsizing. I'm literally starting over again. And this time I am starting over as a single mom, and Isaac is going to be, you know, a single dad. Like, we're no longer going to be living together. We're going to be on our own. And it is a little sad, but it's also exciting. And we're both just really looking forward to healing and growing and building our futures as a unique family situation. So that being said, obviously everything is changing, and I just want to thank everyone for continuing to support me through my whole journey. It's been a very wild and crazy one, but I'm not gonna stop sharing with you all. I'm still gonna do all the things, and I also have some other things that I'm working on too, and I'm just grateful that you're all here, and I'm grateful for those of you that are gonna choose to stick around. So I can only hope that you understand, and I hope that I answered any questions that you might have had. Maybe I will do a Q&A if you're interested in a Q&A video, and you can ask whatever questions and I can answer them directly. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll just do a dedicated video for any questions that you guys have. So I guess that's it, and I will be seeing you guys later this week, and I just want to thank you again for watching and for watching this far. So with all of that being said, I will see you guys on the next video.